I'm John Butler of Hypnotherapy Training International, and I've often been asked about how to set goals because it's such an important part of therapy and of life. And of course, life is really an aspect of therapy and vice versa. It's all about learning and growing. Now, as you're setting goals, there's many stages and steps, and it's very important to cover the main elements here in this short video, so I will just keep to that. And those steps include the decision about the goals, choosing, prioritizing goals, the implantation of goals into the mind, the taking action on them, and then the persisting and improving and developing as you're progressing towards the goals. Very important to make sure those stages are done very thoroughly. People can take action maybe, but they don't persist, and many actually fail at the very beginning. Because when you're deciding on a goal, you have to plan and prepare properly for that. It can take a day or two, maybe 10, 20 hours minimum. Better to do it over about 2 or 3 weeks, because for many people in their whole lives, they never really set a goal. And the goal is far more than a vague wish and hope. We've often heard we should follow the SMART acronym: specific, measurable, etc. And those are important factors, and there's many others. Now, each stage requires its own proper development. And these are things we cover in our classes, because in our courses in the HTI, Hypnotherapy Training International, we are dealing a lot with goal achievement. High-level performers and successful people in all kinds of fields have to learn about setting goals. And the successful people who don't specifically learn it, they do it intuitively. But that's very rare. Now, the majority of people to say don't set goals. And when you're doing it, you have to be very serious. It's a solemn process in many ways, a sincere process with heart searching. That is your goal, a real goal? Is it something, rather superficial, compensatory, maybe very selfish, just reflecting undeveloped parts of your own psyche? So as we go through that, looking into our strengths and weaknesses and looking at through self-knowledge, does this goal align with my values? Is it really speaking to my inner self? And what am I prepared to give to get? And as I work on that goal, I'm going to have to decide in short, medium, long range activities towards the goal with definite plans of action, the plans to succeed. And without the plan to succeed, as we say, we're planning to fail automatically, which is how many people end up in life with underachieving and achieving really the kind of hurdle level, often, which in many times in history is really a level of mediocrity. So as you set the goal very seriously, with great purpose, meaning behind the goal, with the enthusiasm to persist with it, you're imprinting it deeply then. That's that stage of implantation with emotion, because unless it's got the emotion of the subconscious mind behind it, that power of the subconscious, and you're on that wavelength with the goal, it's just not going to happen. You won't be able to really persist and excite the imagination, get that intense concentration. So you're really learning how to think and how to use the subconscious here, again, covered in detail in our classes. That intense focus on the task, on the goal, the outcomes, is going to really create a burning ambition, or a healthy kind of obsessional level of energy in the mind, in which case you'll be able to overcome the obstacles of doubt and fear and decision and all the many enemies of the mind. Now, as we learn to get stronger and better with our goals, we're giving up alibis and excuses, giving up the blame games, and really writing the goal down, speaking it, hearing it aloud, and using all our 5 senses that we can see it and feel it and touch it. And in our mind, essentially, it's already there as an achievement, that we have already taken possession of it with gratitude and so on. Now, that's intense programming. You need to learn about that properly to do it at a very high level. And that's what hypnotherapy teaches you, the art and science of autosuggestion, the art and science of the hypnotic trance. If there are obstacles in your mind, you may have to go of a very deep nature. We may have to go into regression analysis work to help you remove those blocks so you become that irresistible force. Now, in the taking action phase, now that we've got it into the mind, we're now optimizing our performance, breaking down the goals into tasks, using the 80-20 rule of efficiency, acquiring the knowledge, the skills, the learning abilities, working on our daily motivation, revisiting our goal where we've written it down, we're speaking and writing it again, maybe in more detail, and we're connecting with life and with our inner self through the hypnosis. Daily planning, making lists, all these things are going to keep us focused on the goal. Staying in the present, in the zone of optimal achievement, is really a hypnotic state, an active, dynamic hypnotic state. And as we persist and improve in that final stage with the goal, we're learning, we're evaluating, monitoring how we're doing, getting better and better, ignoring distractions, learning that incredibly powerful concentration of energy of the mind, which produces the ultimate results. With that focus, enthusiasm, and commitment, we're going to be able to drive through the obstacles of disappointment, any despondency, the negative forces around us from other people and so on that may be there in your environment. So you become very, very unstoppable in that way. Your mind is very connected with life, with your goals, a lot of gratitude, and that persistence is so vital as you blast through into a very positive success consciousness, as opposed to fearing failures and worrying about them and so on. So I do hope you will now look into some of our courses where you're going to be we're covering that in a sense implicitly with hypnosis and hypnotherapy, because you're setting goals to bring about smoking cessation, losing weight, improving your performance in different areas in your mind, going from fear to confidence, courage, and so on. All of those things are part of the goals of therapy, and you're learning not only about goal setting for therapy, but for your life, which is, again, is all about learning and growth and self-development. I do hope you look into this whole science and art of goal setting and come to see us on one of our courses, online or in person. And we have our next course in late September, when we're going into the topic of advanced analytical hypnotherapy. Thank you very much for listening and watching.